Hello, my name is Angela Schumann and I am the Shakespeare Whisperer. Today I want to answer the question, what is the best sonnet? Shakespeare wrote a lot of sonnets and you're probably thinking, oh, well, it's up to everybody. We all have our own opinion on this. Who's to say what's the best? They're all great in their own ways. But I say no. I say there is a best one. There is one clear winner, and that is Sonnet 116. Why is this? Let me try and convince you. So, on the surface, Shakespeare's sonnets seem to be quite romantic. They have a lot of flowery language, they talk about love, they talk about beauty. Oh, that's nice. But when we take a closer look at them, we realise that these are very cynical sonnets. In his sonnets, Shakespeare, of course, isn't just simply writing love poetry. He's playing with the genre, he's experimenting with it, and he's undermining it and seeing if he can get away with it. Many of his sonnets are written to a certain young man, and on the surface he seems to be professing love to the young man and admiration of the young man, whereas when we look at his language more carefully, we see that there are a lot of double meanings, and that he's often saying things like, you appear to be lovely, but don't be so sure that I see you that way. One of the other big themes is the passage of time. Everything fades, everything decays, even my love for you. Don't forget that after spring comes summer, autumn, and then winter. Things die off, things have a cycle, things have a natural rhythm. So don't expect me to love you forever. There also seems to be a lack of a feeling of eternity and constancy and life after death as well. When we die, everything fades, everything disappears. That's why when he talks about fading beauty, he says to this fair young man, meaning this beautiful young man, don't think that your beauty will last for long. You will fade, you will turn to dust. So have a child. The only way that you can kind of live on, the only constancy there can be, which even still is temporary, is reproduction, to have yourself kind of come into the world again as your own child, which, as we know, it wouldn't be permanent anyway. Then the child would die. Another way that we can kind of fight off time and death and decay is through memory. So Shakespeare kind of says, you might fade away, but my works will live on. In my works I will be remembered. But even then, again, we know in the scheme of things, ultimately one day, hopefully not for millions of years, these written works will eventually fade away too with the rest of the world. So underneath what you would imagine to be quite la 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 flowery and happy poetry is a bitterness and a cynicism. And then we reach Sonnet 116. And the tone of it is different from a lot of the others. This is why it's the best. It is a beacon of hope. It begins. Oh, by the way, you might have heard of Sonnet 116 if you've seen the movie Sense and Sensibility with Kate Winslet in it. Oh, if you haven't, do yourself a favour. Go and watch it right now. Stop this video, just go and start it right now. She meets Willoughby and in an incredibly romantic scene, he shows her that he carries in his breast pocket a copy of Shakespeare's sonnets, and they recite Sonnet 116 to each other. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds. Oh, so beautiful. But they're right, it is beautiful, and we're going to see why. So it begins. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Okay, yep, cool. That means nothing. I understood one word and it was marriage. So, I'm guessing love. Well, yes. This is a reference to marriage and marital love. And in fact, it is a rewording of the words of the marriage ceremony that took place in Shakespeare's day and age. So, talking about marriage here, we're talking about love. And he says, love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Beautiful. So again, when we're talking so much in the other sonnets about how, you alter and your beauty leaves your face and you fade like a withering leaf, he's saying true love will not alter in the face of this alteration. You can grow old, you can get grey hairs, you can wrinkle up, I will still love you. True love does not alter when alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark. Now here we encounter a lot of nautical terminology. So he's drawing a strong connection here with the idea of a ship trying to find its way through stormy seas. So a mark is like a beacon, like a lighthouse or something. So, oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark. Again, a bark is a ship, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Again, height is another nautical navigation term. But what's lovely here is there is another meaning here as well. It is an ever fixed mark, so that can mean that this beacon that the ship can guide itself by, but it can also mean a mark, an indelible mark that is left on the human person, that cannot be removed by a remover, one that does not alter when it sees alteration. A person is permanently changed by this mark. And of course, if you think of marriage as a sacrament, then the person is indelibly altered forever. It's a very kind of optimistic idea of constancy in love. Love's not time's fool. Oh, thank you, Shakespeare. Time, which destroys everything, which turns us all into worm food, as he continually reminds us. Here he says, love is not time's fool. Time will not get the better of this one thing. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. So think of the Grim Reaper with his sickle, his curved blade that cuts down all things. And that's what time does. Within the compass of his sickle, all things are encircled. Nothing is beyond its reach. So rosy lips and cheeks, the outward signs of beauty, they will fall prey to time. They will decay and die, but love won't. That's what he's saying. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Thank you, Shakespeare. I often say, if you're going to, I don't know why people would, but if you're ever going to recite a sonnet to somebody, make it sonnet 116. Be very careful about the others. But sonnet 116 is like this beacon itself within a sea of much more cynical sonnets and questions about fading love and insincerity and obsession with looks, which are all still super relevant today. Shakespeare says that real love will survive all of these things. It will even survive time. It will even survive death. It will even survive the end of the world. That is love. And he stakes his writing career on it, which is the thing that he says will be remembered. He says, you might not love me, or you might not be remembered, but my work will be remembered. And he ties the importance to that. He bets on that with love. And he says, if I'm a writer, then this is what love is. It will not fade. It will not decay. Go Shakespeare.